Hello everyone, today I want to talk to you guys about 5 altcoins that are now in bull markets, i.e. uptrends, and we're going to be showing you why it is that we technically believe this. So not only do we think we have a good time for risk markets, risk asset markets generally, we think that the cryptocurrency market offers some of the biggest opportunities in terms of ROI. And today we're going to be talking about 5 altcoins that have broken out of their phase ones, their bases, their Wyckoff accumulation phases into phase 2, which is your uptrend, your bull market. And these 5 altcoins are showing a lot of signs of promise. So this is going to be a very technical video. So it's going to be a chart-based video. And we're going to be showing you that all 5 of these altcoins have broken out. Not only have they broken out, they've came back for a retest of what was previous resistance, now turned into support, and are destined for higher prices in our opinion. Now, before I start, because we are dealing with the topic of price, we are not a financial advisor on this channel. Nothing I do or say on this video constitutes as financial advice. These are just 5 altcoins that we believe have broken out and are destined for higher prices. So, to start off with really my method for being able to predict what a market is going to do next, we have produced a course called the Market Mastery course. Now, the Market Mastery course works on market cycles, and the laws of this Market Mastery course are that markets move in 4 stages. So I'll pull up the schematic as we go through it. Your phase 1 is your basing phase, your phase 2 is your uptrend, your phase 3 is your top, and your phase 4 is your downtrend. And the perfect time to buy an asset is when it's transitioning between phase 1 into phase 2. And this typically happens on a breakout with volume, and then very typically a retest of the point in which you broke out of your phase 1 base. All 5 of these altcoins not only have broken out on volume, they've pulled back on declining volume, ready for an acceleration in that volume on the retest. And some of them are a little bit further ahead than others, like Helium, which we're going to be talking about in this video. Now, there are many opportunities in the cryptocurrency space, and we are committed to bringing you them on this channel. These are just 5 that have shown a textbook breakout and retest. So, if I dive over to our All in Crypto Academy, what we are doing today, ladies and gentlemen, is we are going to be providing an 80% discount on our Market Mastery course, which you will locate down here with the code ALLIN80. So we'll leave a link to that in the description. You don't have to take the course, but if you want to learn this method that we've had huge success for when it comes to predicting the future moves on the market, there's no silver bullets out there, ladies and gentlemen, but this is as close to one as you'll get in regards to being able to technically analyze a market and predict what comes next. So after phase 1, it's typically phase 2. At some point, you will enter phase 3, and then you'll enter phase 4, which is the downtrend, which is where we don't want to be holding on to a specific asset. This just doesn't work for the cryptocurrency space. It works universally, and really it is an extension of Dow's theory on the markets, which starts with sort of insiders, public participation, and then late public participation into, of course, a downtrend, or Wyckoff's market cycles. People often think about Wyckoff and they only really bring up the accumulation schematics or the distribution schematics. There's a middle and an end part to that, and it's very much a 4-part move. In fact, if you look at the Wall Street cheat sheet, for example, really that's mapping out emotions that come with market cycles, and I'm sure many of you are feeling some of them as we speak. So to show you a couple of examples in regards to success that we've had, Spotify was a recent one for us. Now, we were speculating here in phase 1, you can see this resistance level, that you were about to enter phase 2. And we got this on a breakout, then a retest, which is very textbook. Smart money will be accumulating on the point 1 and then point 2 before it then entered an uptrend. And we were calling this very much down in the $115 range. Today, it sits at $343. So this is a stock. Spotify is obviously a music-based stock. Also, HubSpot is one that's a little bit further behind, but we were looking at it back here. Of course, you can see you have your breakout, then your retest, came back, for another retest, but this is likely also destined for higher prices. You can see how markets move in cycles, in phases, which is really what the entire course is based around, and identifying those phases and being able to potentially capitalize on them. And these 5 altcoins are all in what we believe is now phase 2 and are destined for higher prices. But in regards to these altcoins specifically, I want people to focus on the breakout and then the retest. So just like with Spotify, you have a breakout and a retest. One that those of you that watch me regularly on the channel will know that we were quite famous for calling was the S&P 500. Now, in our daily market updates that we do every single day, which are crypto focused, even if you're not into crypto, you should be, because it's going to offer the biggest opportunity out of all risk assets in a time when risk assets are generally going to do quite well. And we can speak about how on the macro kind of economic landscape, the stage is very much set for this. So we need to get that sort of big part right, which largely centers around central banks and, of course, the currencies. We saw a great example of that with the unwinding of the yen carry trade on the back end of the Bank of Japan, upping their interest rates and risk adjusting as a result of that. You were about to see the adversary of that with central banks such as the Fed, which is the largest manipulator of liquidity. So you can see for the S&P, for example, you have your phase 1 base, you have your breakout, and then you come back to this point of previous resistance, now flip to support before you enter an uptrend. We were very accurate on calling this and calling many others out there. A recent one for us was actually Amazon. You can see we were calling Amazon's break pre-break of this resistance. You can see this was a small retest before it then embarks on a higher journey. And we still have higher targets for this. In fact, Bitcoin is another great example. We were calling for essentially this to be a phase 1 base. You've got a technical pattern in the form of an inverse head and shoulders there that predicted a $41,000 Bitcoin price. You can see you broke, you retested twice. So you broke out on inclined or increased volume, which is what you need to see on a breakout. Then the volume declines only for it to pick back up again. And these 5 altcoins that we're going to be showing you are following a similar trajectory to what we've seen previously play out. We've shown you a couple of examples, but there are hundreds of examples we can show you. And this is why we teach the Market Mastery course, because it is something that it's not trading signals or BS indicators. It's essentially equipping you guys to have the technical insight, i.e. to be able to look at a chart and know what phase it's in and typically what to follow, know what to look for, what to look out for, and ultimately hopefully capitalize on opportunities that the market is ever forthcoming with. You know, I truly do love what I do here as a technical analyst, and we want to teach people to fish, not just provide them with fish. So if you do want to take that course, do check out the link in the description. We are giving an 80% discount because we really want the people who want to take the course to get it at a real value. And that's not going to last forever. Certainly as the market picks back up, we're going to get a lot more interest and we're going to reduce that. But if you do want to take it, check the link in the description and use the code ALLIN80. So altcoin number uno that we have for you is Avalanche. So AVAX. Now AVAX, of course, is a layer 1 blockchain. It's essentially an Ethereum equivalent. It's a smart contract layer 1 proof of stake blockchain that does things a little bit different with their kind of parallelized system. I don't want to go too much fundamentally because it's largely irrelevant when we're looking. I think you can predict price better from looking at a chart than you can from understanding something fundamentally. Yes, of course, it's great to have amazing fundamentals, but often there's a real disconnect between fundamentals and price. That's why we see the likes of the majority of the stock market in the United States trading on insane multiples in regards to actual earnings. Value based on fundamental analysis doesn't correspond, in my opinion, with the actual earnings and prices of many assets out there, because ultimately a lot of assets are essentially a short currency trade, and with inflation there's this kind of skew that takes place. But I don't want to talk too much on that subject matter. You can see AVAX today doing exactly what we'd expect it to do in regards to being nearly 7% up. If you look at where it's supporting, you had a breakout here on volume. The volume isn't spectacular over on AVAX here. It's better shown on Coinbase. So you can see this resistance, which is, I believe I was showing people at one point, is obviously down here. I'll move this very, very quickly. And you can see breakout on big volume. Then on this pullback, you have a declining volume before you then get a resurgence in volume. So let's go back to the chart that we were currently using, and altcoin number 1, which of course is AVAX, Avalanche. You can see you have a phase 1 base here, a breakout on volume, confirming the breakout. Then you get a pullback on declining volume, and you're bouncing around that support level. Again, to show you a couple of examples once more, this was Bitcoin's phase one into its break. And you can see where support was found. You're not always going to respect it perfectly. You do need to add a little bit of nuance. For example, you can see American Semiconductors, a breakout, huge volume here, declining volume before you start to get that resurgence in volume. HubSpot, another great example, breakout, retest, and of course Spotify, breakout, retest. And this is the journey before you embark on a broader uptrend that AVAX Avalanche is now on. So crypto number one is Avalanche, AVAX, which we believe is now in phase two, which means it's destined for higher prices, which aligns with our broader thesis on markets more generally. Altcoin number two, which is one of my favorite altcoins, is, of course, the Internet Computer, ICP. The Internet Computer was in an accumulative phase, a phase one basing phase. Often you get bullish divergences and a number of indicators that will teach you in the market mastery to kind of give you clues that you're in this phase, or certainly increase your probabilities of being right on speculating that you're in phase one. Of course, the confirmation comes with that breakout into phase two, and then the retest. ICP very much doing that in a double bottom fashion, but you very much have a broad uptrend ahead of you, ladies and gentlemen, just like with Spotify, or perhaps the S&P, which is a really good one that I like to show. Breakout, retest, you can see it sort of slips a little bit below, finds its feet, and you get that strong support coming in. I do believe you're going to see that with ICP. So crypto number two is, of course, the Internet Computer. Blockchains really are solving many of the issues that the world's faced today. It's why we are in this industry, or got into it initially. Not just the problem of money and a store of value outside of corrupt government control or central bank control and the international banking cartel. And of course, ICP is doing many things there, including things like decentralized AI, truly decentralized AI, leveraging the Internet Computer Protocol. So this is crypto number two. So crypto number one was AVAX, very much all showing positive signs. You can see AVAX broke out and then came back. On volume, the breakout was declining volume, and now you're starting to, or hopefully we'll see that volume increase. Again, ICP, a breakout on volume, then look how the volume goes. It declines, and hopefully we'll start to pick back up around this support level. But ultimately, in our opinion, is in phase two, which is your uptrending phase. The next one that I have for you, which is one of the stronger ones because it's significantly further away from its retest point, its support, which was previous resistance flip, is Helium. Now, unfortunately, I don't have volume on Helium because the best chart that I have for you is from crypto. So this isn't an exchange. It's just something else that essentially uses exchange data and tracks it. But you can see your phase one base. You get that breakout. There was volume here. I can confirm that on a number of other charts. Then you come back. This was in a very sort of falling wedge-esque manner. We will be releasing courses on technical patterns before you then get that breakout and that resurgence, that support come in that ultimately is going to see you move towards higher ground, just like we saw for the S&P. And we have hundreds of examples out there of things doing the exact same thing. I think Microsoft was a good one for us, but there's many out there that we can show you, and we're actually very early on. So Helium is, of course, the next cryptocurrency that we have for you. So that's three. And then another favorite of mine is, of course, Chainlink. Now, Chainlink, of course, originally started off as a Oracle, and they still largely are. They're essentially a way for immutable data to interact with machines. Now, if anyone's a fan of cybernetics or Norbert Wiener, you'll know the world that we're moving towards. And actually, the problem of how do you communicate with these machines is a big one, and certainly in an immutable way becomes an even bigger problem, certainly in regards to things being hacked and stuff like that. And we're talking about a very futuristic use case for Chainlink, but more simply, it enabled DeFi. It's going to enable the crossroads of the digitization and the tokenization of everything. But you can see this was Chainlink's phase one base. We were accumulating throughout here. You get that breakout, then you get the retest before you then see further continuation. So we have Avalanche, we have ICP, we have Helium, which is, of course, a deep-in network for broadband, if you will. Very interesting. Recently migrated to Solana. I think that's a bullish move for them. And then, of course, you have Chainlink. And we could have thrown in, and if you guys want more videos showing you more opportunities, more cryptocurrencies that have not only broken out into an uptrend, they've came back for a retest, confirming it, and are likely going to be very much at the perfect time, actually, if you're looking to buy potentially. We will release those. But the next altcoin that I have for you guys, which may annoy some, is Dogecoin. Okay, now you can see here with Dogecoin, you've got your phase 1 base, your period of accumulation, and then ultimately you get a breakout. This is volume. On the pullback, you're getting declining volume, ultimately looking for that resurgence in volume around this point here. And you can see these wicks, these sort of hammering wicks, or it's not really a hammer, or it is a hammer, I should say, that are kind of supporting the direction that we believe it is now about to embark on. So to recap, and you'll see a similar thing with these altcoins that we've seen with some of the stock examples that we've given you that are obviously a lot higher than where these altcoins currently are, but are following a similar trajectory. Certainly the altcoins are. You know, markets will often repeat, and this is what the Market Mastery course, which we're offering you an 80% discount on, is all about. And of course, if you don't want to take the course, do follow along with the channel. Hopefully we can teach you a thing or two as we go along. But I believe everybody should become financially savvy, and one of the best ways to do that is through understanding technical analysis, which is just really a study of the charts, because we can spot what the insiders are doing before they do it, just like with Bitcoin, just like with the S&P, just like with many stocks out there. We've got loads of sort of phase 2 stocks that are now in uptrends, some of them a little bit further than others. We think, of course, miners, many Bitcoin miners are there. You know, it's really going to be a fruitful time for risk. And some of these crypto assets that we're showing you today really offer a great opportunity, certainly in regards to where they are from a technical point of view. So to conclude, the altcoins that we are calling for now being in an uptrend, a bull market, and we've shown you technically why we believe this is the case, are AVAX, the Internet Computer, Helium, Chainlink, and Dogecoin. We thought we'd throw a meme in there, but we can bring you many others. And if you want more of these videos, do let us know. Check out the course. If you want to become a Patreon, and of course get weekly meetings with me, we've already trialed the courses on the Patreons and given it out for free for Patreons. Do also check the link in the description. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to love and leave you. Have a wonderful day wherever you are and whatever it is you're doing, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See you in the next.